Lavender Castle, Gerry Anderson's penultimate television series, first aired in the UK in January 1999.
So, friends, welcome to the Paradox.
Across 26 10-minute episodes, Captain Thrice would lead the crew of the spaceship Paradox in search of Lavender Castle, a magical floating city of light that was the source of all goodness in the universe.
Aegon must be able to see it too.
Should Lavender Castle ever be destroyed, the universe would be plunged into eternal darkness. And destruction is just what the sinister Dr. Aegon has planned for it.
And if you're not frightened of me now, you soon will be.
It's now a race against time between the Paradox and Aegon's spaceship the Dark Station, as each side searches for clues that may finally lead them to the city's location, with the ultimate fate of the universe hanging in the balance.
If we're ever to find Lavender Castle, we must follow up every possible lead.
Lavender Castle was a hybrid of stop-motion animation, primarily used for its characters, and CGI for its vehicles and special effects. Its origins stretch back to the late 1980s, and to a meeting between Gerry Anderson and artist Rodney Matthews during the production of the Space Police pilot. In a curiously similar situation to that which had led to the creation of Dick Spanner a few years earlier, Anderson was taken with an image in Matthews' portfolio that he called the Bloated Hobgoblin, and declared that he could see the character working in stop-motion form.
With all this hassle, I need Lavender Castle.
Matthews left the meeting with an invitation to pitch a full series, and over the next few months set to work outlining the idea that would soon become Lavender Castle. A few years later, he returned to pitch this idea to Anderson, armed with a booklet featuring detailed sketches and designs of the show's primary characters, vehicles, and settings. Anderson instantly fell in love with the concept and its characters, and set out to pitch the idea to the BBC and ITV, who both turned the project down. Finally, in 1995, Anderson was able to secure a deal with Carrington Pictures International to finance the series.
Nothing can go wrong, trust me.
At long last, filming began on Lavender Castle in March 1997 at the Manchester-based studios of Cosgrove Hall Films, whose previous television credits included some of the most successful British children's shows of the 80s and 90s.
Now that's not a cutout.
While the CGI sequences were produced by Whitehorse Films in London.
Isambard, full power.
Aye, Captain.
The first episode of the series wastes no time in establishing just how important it is that our heroes find Lavender Castle before Dr. Aegon can. But Captain Thrice and his Scottish chief engineer Isambard
Aye, sir.
will need a crew if they're going to beat him to it.
And I think I know where to find one.
As luck would have it, the dim-witted space pirate Short Fred Led is about to sell Dr. Aegon some prisoners from his space galleon the Cutting Snark to use as slaves aboard the Dark Station, so the Paradox races to intercept before the sale can be made.
Not him again.
These prisoners included the Australandan space pilot Roger,
All systems go.
medical student Laika,
But I'll also be your doctor.
robotic knight and housekeeper Sir Squeak-a-Lot,
All in the line of duty, sir. Oh, heck.
and the easily confused navigator Sproggle.
Sproggle, where's the signal coming from now?
Between a bit to the right and a little bit more to the right.
He's trying his best.
I know, that's what worries me.
All of whom are freed and invited to join the quest to find Lavender Castle.
I seem to have found a crew.
Rounding out the crew of the Paradox was Captain Thrice's sentient walking stick, Walking Stick, who maintains a link to Lavender Castle itself after it brought her to life when she and Captain Thrice first encountered it some time ago.
That experience made me realize how important Lavender Castle is to all of us.
The Paradox crew actually found Lavender Castle on more than one occasion, but then found themselves too busy protecting it from its enemies to ever land there.
Do you like Dr. Aegon?
Yes, I do. Except when he calls me Trump.
He calls you Trump? How cruel.
As well as Dr. Aegon and Short Fred Led, other memorable villains faced by the Paradox crew included the robotic Colonel Clump.
I am creating a museum, a gallery of living space creatures.
The Guardian of the Dark Tower. and the banjo-playing dank from the swamps of the planet Quagmire.
This just ain't my day.
While junk dealers Twaddledim and Twaddledove's loyalties lie with whoever will pay them the most.
We didn't really mean to harm Captain Thrice.
It's just that the money was good.
Lavender Castle had one of the longest production periods of any Anderson series, with the stop-motion filming alone taking 80 weeks to complete.
Time to meet your, baker.
Anderson himself was more closely involved with the scripting of this series than any of his previous productions, with 18 of the show's 24 episodes crediting him as a writer, alongside Chris Trengrove and children's author Pauline Fisk.
Fear not, Miss Leica. I will return your manuscripts forthwith.
He was also determined that Rodney Matthews' vision for the show made it to the screen intact, with the finished models, sets and characters staying remarkably true to his original designs.
I never knew you could play the banjo, Captain.
Yes, in my youth.
However, when Matthews' original choice of composer, Rick Wakeman, proved unavailable, Crispin Morrell would return to the Anderson fold to score the series.
He blew up the banjometer. The banjometer is unblowable.
Lavender Castle finally aired in the UK in CITV's early afternoon schedules from January 1999 until March of 2000, where it was well received by younger viewers.
Lavender Castle, Thursdays at 4, a new series on CITV.
A second season and even a possible feature film were all being discussed until Carrington Pictures suddenly signed the rights for the show over to Hit Entertainment, where the project ground to a sudden and permanent halt. Because of this, and uniquely for a Gerry Anderson series, Lavender Castle saw no dedicated merchandising at all until the series was released on DVD in 2005.
I thought something exciting was going to happen.
And although the rights have changed hands again several times since then, nobody seems interested in doing much with the show, so far. Lavender Castle is easily the most unfairly overlooked and most often forgotten of all Gerry Anderson's colour television series.
I'm not surprised. You had your eyes closed the whole time.
While the ongoing rights issues certainly haven't helped keep it in the public eye, there are several other reasons it keeps getting ignored.
What have you got to say to that?
Being more firmly aimed at a child audience caused the series to be broadcast in a time slot that would prevent most adults from seeing it, although many young viewers who saw it at the time still consider it to be one of the finest CITV shows of the period.
I thought it was fantastic.
However, even a casual viewer can tell at a glance that Lavender Castle doesn't quite fit the traditional Anderson format of high-tech vehicles, secret bases, all-American heroes, and big explosions. Instead, the series usually finds itself in the ranks of shows like The Protectors and Dick Spanner as oddities within the Anderson canon that many fans overlook.
Poor souls. Whatever could have happened?
However, like those other shows, Lavender Castle is still worth a look for those who've never seen it. Hooray! The show's universe, so beautifully and intricately designed by Rodney Matthews, benefited hugely from being expertly brought to life by the superb animation team of Cosgrove Hall. Its characters are memorable and likeable, and its stories cram a lot into just 10 minutes.
It seems that way, old chap.
Even the late 1990s CGI still holds up, providing the series with a greater sense of scale than most other stop-motion children's shows being made around the same time.
Will you shut up?
Most importantly, the series remains an imaginative, engaging and timeless space fantasy that still has much to offer to younger viewers.
I wonder if I'll ever see you again.
It may not seem much like its Super Marionation predecessors at first glance, but Lavender Castle deserves to be remembered for embracing the traditional Anderson values of good versus evil on a galactic scale.
Full steam ahead then.
To Lavender Castle.
Which way's that then?